All right, ladies and gentlemen, on your report card preview, we'll call it report card preview, you already know with adding and subtracting fractions where you stand. Are you mastery? Are you approaching mastery? Or are you still at instructional level? And if you are at a 1 or a 2, you want to do what you can to prove that you mastered it. You get it. You understand it. Okay. You want to strengthen your ability to add and subtract fractions. So let's start with the questions I gave my students last year to prove to me that they knew how to add and subtract fractions. So if you want to practice, pause the video, try these questions, okay? And then watch how I explain each one and try to make sense out of each step. Pause it, rewind it, okay? Here we go. Here's the answer to 10 twelfths plus 3/4. First thing you do is you have your fraction. You should put it up and down so it's easier to work with. Okay, so we have 10 twelfths, we have 3/4, and you know what? I don't know if my screen's going to be in the way. When it's recorded, it has me go in a different spot, so I guess we'll see after my recording's done. First thing we have to do is give them the same denominator. Well, you can change the denominator to anything that is a multiple of it. So 12 can turn into 12, 24, 36, so on and so forth. Fourths can turn into 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and keep going by fourths. The first thing they both can turn into is 12ths, right? They both turn into 12ths. 12 times 1 is 12. So when you go ahead and change 10 twelfths into 12ths, it stays 10 twelfths because it already was 12ths. What about 3/4? Well, how many 4s make 12? 4, 8, 12, 3. So if the multiple is times 3, you take the old numerator, which is 3, multiply it by 3, and then you get the new numerator, which is 9. Now we have 9 twelfths and 10 twelfths. Add those together, it's easy. It's 19 twelfths. But 19 twelfths is bigger than a whole because a denominator tells you how many pieces you need to make a whole. And if you have 19 of them, you have at least one whole, which you have one whole, which is 12 twelfths. So we could pull 12 twelfths out of 19 twelfths. And if you pull out 12 to make a whole, you still have number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. There's still 7 left. So 7 twelfths is going to be a part of our answer. And then the whole is going to turn into a whole. So your answer is 1 whole and 7 twelfths. Let's go to the next one. The next one's 5 and 8 14ths plus 1 and 5 sevenths. So we have our amounts. We want to make sure that they're on top of one, like the first one's on top, and then the next one's below the top one. When you work on them up and down like this, it's so much easier to add and subtract fractions. So you want to make sure that you do that. So the first thing you got to do is look at their name. We got to give them the same name, and the same name is going to be 14ths, right? So let's turn them both into 14ths. 8 14ths luckily already is 14, so it's going to stay 8 14ths. 5 sevenths, something has to happen to each piece. Well, 7 times 2 is 14, so each piece has to split into 2 pieces. So you count by sevens until you figure out how many it takes to make 14. And that answers 2. So the multiple or the magic number or the whatever you want to call it, it's times 2. So the old numerator is 5. To make the new numerator, you do it 5. You give it 5 times 2, which is 10. Now we have the same denominator, right? You have 14 14ths, you have 8, you have 10. This is what students don't understand is that takes place of the old fraction. Okay, we have these new equivalent fractions to the old fractions, but now they have the same names, right? When they have the same names, it's so much easier to work with. 8 plus 10 is 18 14ths, right? But you only need 14 14ths to make a whole, so we have more than a whole. We have 4 pieces more than a whole. There's your 14 14ths. I'm going to put it over there as a whole. Usually we just put a 1 with the other holes, but I just want to show you what that 1 is. That 1 is 14 14ths, which means there's 4 pieces left over. And then 5 plus 1 is 7. So our answer is 7 and 4 14ths. Okay? And then last, let's work on our subtraction problem here. So when we're working on our subtraction problem, sorry, I think we're here now. Okay, so the last one we are going to subtract, we have a mixed number, and we're going to subtract another mixed number. We have 3 and 3/21. We are going to take away 1 and 5/7. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that they're written up and down. The next thing that we need to do is make sure that their denominators are the same. Okay, it's like adding 3 or subtracting 3 strawberries and 5 bananas. You can't subtract different named items, right? So instead you have to give them the same name. So remember, you could change a fraction's name by any multiple of that denominator. So 7 can turn into 7, 14, 21, 28, so on. And 21 can turn into 21, 42. Well, once again, because your teacher really helped these students out last year, I'm making them change the denominator, but one of them won't have to change. So you change them both into over 21. 3 stays the same. And then the bottom one, you'll get 7. How many 7s make 21? 3. So therefore, that is your magic number. The old 5 turns into 15. Now you subtract. Remember, you always have the top number. If I have 3 and lose 15, then the answer is -12. You cannot do it. But luckily, we have help from the 3 over there. Hello, Mr. 3. Can we use one of you, please? Sure, you can have one of me. I now only 2, but I will give you my 21 over 20, right? Because a whole can turn into anything. Since we need more 21sts, we're going to say, okay, turn into 21st. And since it's a whole, it's worth exactly 21 of them. So then you give the 21 to the 3, and you say, here you guys go together. Now 15 can be taken from you. So together, they are together 24 over 21, not 13. You don't put a 1 when you borrow fractions. 21 minus 15 is 9 over 9/21. And then 2 minus 1, not 3 because we borrowed. 2 minus 1 is 1. So that answer is 1 and 9 over 21. Guys, just let's see where we're at here. Adding and subtracting fractions. It is probably the most difficult thing I will have to teach you all year. And we started in Unit 1. However, I think some of you guys have really started understanding it since you guys took that test. And that's why I allow you all year. Some people, it takes longer than others to master this. Okay, we're going to continue working on it even after the first trimester's over. But really, really try to understand how to do this. Okay, I will have another video for the second part of Unit 1. But right now, just focus on these 3 questions. And if you understand them, you will do fine and dandy on the end of the trimester test. All right. Thanks for watching.